Hey everyone, it's Will, GamerDad, with another video for you. So hopefully you did get the new update. It is an in-game update since we are on the same version 2.11 or 2.13.300, I guess, 100. And so in tonight's episode of Should You Summon, we'll cover the newest banner and the newest featured unit, which is another style, Flare Knight, aka AS Radias. Now, if you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. I also do have a Patreon account for those who want to support me this way. So, of course, with all banners, there are usually Fatefuls. This one is 2 times max, and so pretty standard for those who've been playing for some time. Most of these featured banners are 1 month, and this is no exception, August 24th, 2022 UTC. And you can do this twice, like I said. Now, note that this is a full rate up for any form of Radius. And so on pulls 1 to 9, you do get a 0.4 chance of the 4.5, as well as a 0.8% chance of the 5-star normal style, as well as 0.8% chance of the AS. So obviously for those who have 0 form, you have essentially a 2% chance on any single pull. And clearly if you're using the Fateful on the 10th pull, you get a 10% rate up for the AS version. As with all paid banners, all the newest units are still here. Orlea's here, and ES Miu will also be here. Let's just quickly go down because she does have 2 forms. There you go. Athena is there. And of course, unfortunately, the normal bots, Rainbow Sisters and Knights. And for those who are free to play, or if you want to spend paid stones on the free banner, which I don't recommend, you can look at this banner. For us, it is still the same thing, 0.4% chance on the 4.5, 0.8 on the normal style 5, as well as 0.8 on the AS version. Note that if you do single pulls because you have less than 1,000 stones, you actually still do get the full rate up on this, being that in any single pull you do get 2% chance. The downside though is that if you are pulling singles versus the 10 pull, for example, you do lose a little bit rate up on some of the 5 stars out there. Now that being said, the main question is, should you summon? So for those who missed my patch notes update video yesterday, or a couple of days ago, of course, because the live stream came out I think a few days ago as well. That was very unique, by the way. AS Radius is our, I shouldn't say first, but I'll say our first tank that can replicate Pry as a 5-star. Now, for those who have Pry as a 5-star, and you have to do some quests in order to get him as a 5-star for those who are newer to the game. Pry's special ability is he has a move called Indulgence. And Indulgence essentially is a preemptive move that allows him to tank all AoE. So for example, say your front party has 4 members and the enemy attacks and hits everyone for 3k. Instead of everyone getting killed by 3k, you have Pry sucking it all in, taking 12k damage, and surviving, and he will survive over and over as many attacks that occurred that turn. Now the downside to Pry is at the beginning of his next turn, he will stun himself, which means he cannot use Indulgence every turn. You can still cure or remove the stun status. However, because it started at the beginning of that turn, you cannot reuse Indulgence unless you activate an AF, by which you can cure him. Now that being said, Radius is very different. She can do 3 moves of what they call Chivalry. So this replaces her, her regular attack. And instead of doing that like Pry was every other turn, she can do it 3 turns anytime, and it's preemptive of course, and in any order. So she can do 3 in a row. If you want to have a really broken strat, for example, you can do Pry alternating with Radius, so you can get, like multiple turns over and over again with someone tanking all the damage. Remember, this is all the damage, things like even HP and MP drain, weird things like that. Yeah, crazy. Oh, by the way, poison, for example, the Yasazumis of the world, it'll tank everything. So that's what makes her really powerful. A lot of flexibility. She can do that at any time, and just like Pry, will survive that turn. The other thing too is she won't get stunned at the beginning of the next turn. Now, for those who don't have the normal style Radius, you also do get a few other benefits as well. She is a slash zone setter when VCing in, both the normal style as well as the AS style. However, if the AS one starts in front, it inflicts rage on all enemies, and that's pretty much it. So you can still use her to VC in if needed. However, if you're using it as a straight up tank in the front line, you might be better off using slash zone Grasta or VCing in another slash zone unit, aka things like Crest, which is a free slash zone, as well as many other slash zone setters. She does still have this damage self-user and fire slash 8, I guess times 4. So that's pretty useful for in multi-hit combos if needed against barriers and things like that. She does have some AoEs at the 4-star, and she does still have the elemental barrier, which is very, very nice. Type resist, shield kind of like Aurora Force for 50%, and inflict rage, and absorb blood, which also inflicts pain preemptively of all enemies, ignore target resistance, and can heal her up to full HP when in slash zone. But the main thing she has, other than the fact that she can tank 3 times or 3 turns unlimited hits, is her ability to help your team survive. She's got a move called Overwhelm, which is a power debuff on all enemies. Because it is not an attack, I'm assuming this is a guaranteed 30% power down AoE, 3 turns stackable for 3 for a total of 60% power down. Now, if anyone's used Azami as a single target, you'll know that multiple stacks of power down can do wonders against enemies who primarily use power physical type attacks. And on top of that, might as well give a shielded barrier, which reduces incoming damage to all party members with a 70% damage reduction for 1 hit. So, of course, multi-hits won't help you nearly as much. However, anything that's just a single hit, wow, 70% damage reduction plus power down 30 stackable 3. And when it's in any stance, she'll also give herself a shield with HP equal to user's max HP, which is very similar to ES Iska. So ability to help herself survive as well as your team survive. And then her other move is a preemptive fire slash AoE that now inflicts rage. Keep in mind that you could already have done that with some of her other moves, like the, but this one is preemptive. That's the main thing, right? Not only that, might as well physical resistance to all user 70%, status immunity to all party members. When in zone, she can now counterattack, and when she counterattacks, she will heal everyone by HP 50% and restore party's members MP by 15 and status immunities to all party members for 1 time. Now, for those who've used Manifested Annabelle and more recently Starkey with that counter heal, this is amazing. And so you're wondering how good Radias AS is. Is she worth the summon? I think the answer is this. First of all, obviously from a free-to-play standpoint, if you have any form of Radias, either if you hit it now or you've already had her in the past, you should not be summoning on this banner. There are a lot of upcoming super units that are coming up. If you want to check out the upcoming content, there are spoilers on the AE Wiki. Now, that being said, if you don't have any form, and that's what most people are thinking about when summoning for AS Radias, the answer really comes back to, do you need a super tank on your team? Do you want to unlock the ability to tank everything for multi turns in a row? Keep in mind that Pry will be used in accordance with AS Radius, and both are fire units too. So instead of just using slash zone, you can actually use a fire zone using either fire zone Grasta or other ways of establishing fire zone. There's quite a few powerful 5-star fire units, although as well as other ones out there. So anyways, if you want that kind of strategy, yeah, AS Radius, there's no one either now or in the near future from Japan that can do what she does. I think the other thing too that is, I'll just say it as an honorable mention. There was a AE subreddit thread that talked about AS Radius and made mention of something called the team that rules them all, aka a team of 4 ultra powerful units that can tackle almost any content in the game. I won't spoil it for you. Make sure you check out the AE subreddit. There was a member who actually mentioned that AS Radius forms a part of that really powerful team, and you can understand why. The tanking ability is unparalleled. Now, in terms of my feel, honestly speaking, it really depends on your roster at this point. There are so many ways to win, and remember that AE, Another Eden, really does focus on the free-to-play standpoint. You can use free units to win, if not most fights, almost every fight up to date. I would expect that to continue in the future, and so no unit is absolutely necessary. And I would imagine that most people's strategies don't revolve around tanking. Most people revolve around things like low turn clears, ultra powerful 1 or 2 turn AFs, kills after HP stoppers, and so on and so forth. And so Radias is really more of a stall technique. She does really bring back that tanking strategy that some people do like. I myself was a fan of that, but honestly, it is also nice to win in another way where you can just shred everything to bits. So those are my thoughts. If you have to ask me hard yes or hard no, that one's tough. So I don't want to say either way because it really depends on your playstyle. If you want the ultimate tanking strat, you do need this. There's no replacement for it. Like some DPS units can be replaced. For example, there are multiple ways of getting top level Earth DPS, for example. Tanking, there are only a few. And like I said, in terms of absorbing everything from including AoEs, there's only Pry and Radius. So there you go, right? But hey, she might not fit in your strategy, and so therefore that would be a pass for you. All right, so hopefully that gives you some insight. I know it sounds a little bit wishy-washy, but keep in mind that there are other powerful banners coming, and you really do have to balance your roster building at this point. It's very similar to, again, about a year ago almost, where we had that Nokoko ES Sukiya banner. All around that area was a ton of ultra powerful banners, and you just have to decide which one am I skipping and which one am I going for. Because keep in mind, unless you are spending at least some money on the game, very unlikely you'll have every unit in the game. So you do have to make some difficult choices. Even myself at the past, I had to pass on something for units like AS Dunarith and hoped that something off banner comes your way. So there's things like that where, you do need some RNG in terms of filling in your roster through off banners. Otherwise, yeah, it's really, really tough. And so, yep, you have to hope for the best. As for myself, as you all know, I do have a Radius in 5-star already normal style, and so I'll be farming these treatises. Highly recommend anyone who already has a form of Radius to farm for it. And like I said, if you are going for Radius in any form, hey, 2% is a pretty good rate, even single pulls. And like I said, you can farm for the treatises once you get her in any form. Anyways, for those who are summoning, I wish you all good luck. Remember to run those new dungeons and get those new badges. I did upload a video recently. Hopefully you can check it out and, remember to run all those time-twisted mazes for those extra rewards. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.